As a kid, it was one of my favorite things to do on summer evenings. After the sun had set and the fireflies had come out, I would grab a jar and a sheet of paper and chase fireflies. And I would just sit there for hours watching these fireflies, wishing that I could have that ability to just create light wherever I wanted to. I had to catch them in the jar, and then I had to put the jar on the sheet of paper and I had to watch them glow. I don't know if you ever did that before. It was always amazing to me that these little tiny bugs could create this beautiful glow, and these cells are actually modified muscle cells. They have the ability to contract, and when they contract, they produce light. And by contracting these cells, this fish can create light wherever it wants to. Well, this week we got to talk about an animal that can do exactly that. If it's trying to attract a mate, it might flash slowly, and scientists think that maybe different patterns of light mean different things to these fish. All we know is that these light patterns probably help them communicate with each other. In fact, there are tons of different animals that have the ability to produce lights. Fireflies, of course, can do it. Some jellyfish can do it, and even some primates can produce light. Maybe a slow flash means, hey, I'm here, come over and let's mix. Or maybe a fast flash means most animals that produce light do it by mixing chemicals together. These chemicals react and they produce light, but these sharks don't do it that way. There are other animals that can do this too. In fact, there's another fish that can do it, and it's closely related to these sharks. It's called a hatchetfish, and it can produce light in the same way. Their light comes from their muscle cells. Hey, get away! I'm gonna eat you! This is a small fish from the deep sea. It's called a lantern shark. First of all, red light can penetrate deeper into the water than other colors of light. Well, it seems to help them survive in the dark depths of the ocean. Maybe one day we'll be able to produce our own light. Who knows? Maybe we already do have that ability inside of us. We just haven't discovered it yet. I mean, how cool is it that these little tiny fish can produce light? I remember as a kid wanting to have that ability. I mean, imagine being able to just turn your lights on and off whenever you wanted to. That would be so cool. The light helps them find food. It helps them attract mates. And it helps them hide from predators. And so this fish can communicate with other animals that are a little further away. Secondly, most animals that live in the deep sea have red or orange coloration. And so this red light helps to camouflage this fish against the backdrop of the deep sea. But this fish doesn't use light just for seeing. It also uses light to attract prey and to lure them in so they can eat them. And this fish has the ability to create light wherever it wants to. Now, this fish lives in the deep sea where it's really dark, so it needs some light to be able to see. Well, like I said, these cells are modified muscle cells, and so the fish has the ability to control them like it controls its muscles. This fish has special light-producing cells right above its mouth, but these cells don't just produce any color of light. They only produce red light, and scientists think that there's a couple reasons for this. But how does this fish control these cells? How does it control this light? If the fish gets really excited, it can start flashing really quickly. We're not exactly sure what these light patterns mean because, well, we haven't actually studied them in the wild. These fish aren't the only animals that can produce light, but the way that these animals produce light is different from the way that these fish produce light. And it's not just these sharks. So why do these animals have this ability? Why can they produce light? I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty neat. Well, maybe one day we'll have that ability.